The fate of Thailand tourism, a tiger rescue. Following a GPS is not always the best idea, as well as only in Thailand moments coming up on today's Good Morning Thailand. Hello and welcome to Good Morning Thailand. This is our special guest Caitlin.
Hello.
Jazz hands, as well as Natty Warisa.
Hello everyone.
And I'm Jay. Today we will be talking about some serious topics as well as some light-hearted topics. Let's firstly start with the elephant in the room, which is not just me, but Omicron. Now, the fate of tourism, as you might have seen, the thumbnail and the title of this video, is something that everybody is considering at the moment, ladies. In the first quarter next year, everything's still a mystery because the CCSA will decide on January the 4th what will actually happen regarding the schemes. Now, currently, there has been a suspension of the test and go scheme, which allows which is quarantine exemption for people coming from a list of countries, even though it requires 1-day quarantine. However, yes, that has been suspended, and the only way to enter Thailand for new registrants of the Thailand Pass will be through either mandatory quarantine or through the Phuket Sandbox. The other Sandbox programs as well have been cancelled. And the Omicron variant in Thailand has now over 100 cases detected and found. So it's been dominating the news in Thailand. We have more news relating such topics. For example, Samui lately had a problem, didn't they, Caitlin?
Okay, so with the so just to be clear, that registration is canceled for the test and go and for the sandbox schemes, except for the Phuket Sandbox, which was the first sandbox scheme to launch back in July. So Samui, which launched a similar scheme back in late July, they are not happy with this because they're in a similar situation to Phuket, right? They're an island that can isolate itself more easily, just like Phuket. And also the vaccination numbers are pretty high. I think it's around 80% of the population is vaccinated. So a very, very similar situation to Phuket, but Koh Samui cannot do their sandbox. Well, they can't accept new applicants. So people who have already applied and been approved can still enter, but there's no more applicants. Now, the president of the local tourism association in Samui, he's saying that there's been a huge drop in hotel bookings already. And this announcement was just made on Wednesday and published in the Royal Gazette today. So this is huge that so many people have already canceled their hotel bookings, and they're going to submit a letter to government saying that they want to open.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because if you're traveling, let's say, for example, January 15th, you don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. The fact that they've stated January 4th is when they'll let people know what happens. Mm-hmm. If I already had a plan to go to Samui, I wouldn't go. Would you, Natty?
Nah.
It doesn't make sense. Waiting until January 4th to find out if I can travel to Samui on January 10th doesn't really make sense. Mm-hmm. And the other places and regions that did have the sandbox program they definitely feel unfair, because why is it that we're backpedaling to the point where it all started with the Phuket Sandbox? So we're going to day one. That's how people could enter. So it's a minimum 7-day quarantine as of right now. Why do the other places not get to keep their sandbox?
Especially Samui, where it's very similar. So it's you can closely monitor who is leaving the island and who isn't. Yeah. So that's another thing, and it started just I think around 2 weeks after the Phuket Sandbox. So it was. They launched a similar scheme and then adopted a scheme that matched the Phuket Sandbox. But I mean, there's other areas like Chonburi. They're also upset that people can't apply for the Sandbox scheme to enter over there, as well as in Krabi. So
now, yeah, that's right. All right. Tourism in general in Samui was quite poor originally when they did start the Sandbox program, and they opened the fact that you could come to Samui and go to Koh Tao and Koh Phangan, they still had single-digit number tourists arriving on the island. Once the test and go scheme started, those numbers started to double and triple. Now that the test and go scheme is gone, even if they did have a sandbox, it's up in the air how many tourists would actually travel to Samui. Hopefully they do get some good news. January 4th is the day that you will find more information. However, Samui, Caitlin, was in the limelight once again because a person was found to have Omicron, tested positive for Omicron.
Not Omicron.
Did he not?
Not Omicron, just
the
Delta
COVID.
variant. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Isn't that worse? All right. More information on that, Caitlin, please.
Okay, so there's a 29-year-old tourist from Israel who left his hotel. He entered under the test and go scheme, which you have to stay at an approved hotel while you wait for your RT-PCR test, which can take up to a day. But he left before his results could come back, and he ended up testing positive for COVID. So he was staying at a hotel in Bangkok, and then they say that he traveled to Pattaya, where he tried to check into a hotel there, but he was denied because he wouldn't show his passport. Then he came back to Bangkok, and then ended up traveling down to Champon and then going to Koh Samui. So he has turned himself in. And he has since tested negative for COVID twice, but his initial test tested positive for the Delta variant. But he can face charges, which include the breaking the emergency decree, which he can face up to 2 years in prison. And the public health minister says he could also be deported and even blacklisted.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, he should, though. Like, that's really uncalled for you to just, like, break out and do random things like that. And also, he must be really claustrophobic, like, not wanting to quarantine himself for another 14 days or something.
I mean, he didn't even know he was positive, I don't think. And yeah, he left before his results. It's just, you just had to wait a day, you know?
Right. Sometimes it's not even a full 24 hours. You can, depending on how fast they do the test. I've heard a lot of people get out within less than 6 hours, some of them 4 hours. So, naughty man indeed. Bad man. How dare you?
No presents from Santa.
Be responsible. You know, if you're going to come and if you're going to come to Thailand and you know you have to stay for that 1 day in quarantine, you should be responsible. You should do the right thing. It's for everyone else. It's not just about you. Anyways, we're going to leave it at that. We're going to take a quick break. And once we come back from the break, we're going to have a lot more lighthearted stories from around Thailand, some entertaining, that include a tiger rescue, include a truck following the GPS to the wrong direction and getting in trouble, as well as legalizing prostitution. That's coming up after the break.
Find the coffee roast you love most. Coffee Culture delivers Thai coffee online. Whole beans or pre-ground delivered to your doorstep in Thailand. Go to coffeeculture.asia and get coffee you love delivered to your doorstep.
Hello and welcome back to Good Morning Thailand. This is Caitlin. That's Natty. And I'm Jay, and welcome. It's Christmas time, it's the festive season, and as you can see, I've got my glasses on, so now I can see.
Okay.
Nobody laughed. I try.
I did.
I have dad jokes for days. All right, welcome everyone. Thank you to all the viewers who are joining us live right now. A quick thank you guys before we continue with the program to John Steps Drew and Imag Sinonj. I apologize. I'm pretty sure I've said your name wrong, but thank you for being Thaiger members and supporting the channel. We appreciate it. As well as Coffee Culture. Hey. You can buy a gift box set for yourself and a loved one this Christmas. Please visit coffeeculture.asia if you would like coffee as well as beautiful mugs. All right. Let's talk about rescuing tigers. Natty, you've got more information on this.
Yes, I do. So, you know, as the Phuket Zoo is closing, the Wildlife Friends Foundation, or WFFT, is coordinating the custody and care of 11 tigers and 2 bears, which is considered to be the largest rescue in the history of Thailand, of animals, that is. And the WFFT, if you don't know this already, they're well known for their wildlife animal rescue. And it's confirmed today that they'll take custody of 11 tigers from the Phuket Zoo. Like COVID-19, like many other businesses for the past 2 years, they were not able to take care. They didn't have any visitors and they still had to feed the animals, right? So they couldn't take care of them anymore. So it's kind of good that they handed over the animals to the WFFT because they do have a better facility and experts to take care of these animals. And in the past, Phuket Zoo and WFFT have actually clashed many times before over the conditions and treatments of the animals. And the foundation has also said that they've been inundated by venues all over Thailand, including elephant sanctuaries and many other of these places with animals that can't afford to feed and care for the animals anymore, and the cost of rehoming animals are quite expensive. So they are now currently also asking for financial support and business donations. So if you guys want to help out, you can reach them out at worldwideweb.wfft.org. Save the animals.
Rescuing animals from a zoo.
Yeah.
That is a sad sentence.
Right. But have you guys been to Phuket Zoo before?
I have not, but I've always I've always thought of Phuket as like not the best place. Like I know about the tiger, what is it, Tiger Kingdom?
Tiger Kingdom.
That's what I think of.
Right.
So in my head, I just assume that the zoo might be like
sad.
the same. Yeah.
I have been to the zoo, and the zoo might attract a lot of visitors because they do have, some interesting shows. So, for example, if you do go to the zoo, you can see an elephant show, which is really fun, actually. Because I went there as a child, obviously. I was like 13 or 14 years old, and I saw elephants playing football. And that's pretty cool if you think about it.
Elephants playing football?
Yeah,
wow.
They were playing soccer, or some of you might know. But yes, elephants playing football and monkeys riding bicycles. And, they did have tigers there. But yes, it's not known as, the best environment for these animals. It has come under scrutiny it's been in the news a couple of times regarding about animal care and news like this, the fact that animals have to be rescued from a zoo. It should definitely not be a zoo, and it should not be allowed to take care of animals if they can't take care of them properly.
Yeah.
This is not the first time.
So
it's a
maybe
shame.
this is like, how do you call it, a blessing in disguise that they couldn't take care of them and now they have to be transported to a better location where they can be properly taken care of.
And this has happened where like the facilities can't care for the animals right now because of tourism. There's nobody here, so how do these areas like make money? Like I know in Chiang Mai, like early on in the pandemic, like some of the elephants had to be taken to another sanctuary, or I think they tried to release them in the wild in northern Thailand.
Yep.
But I know another person who was speaking to the media said that he might have to just sell the elephants, like his elephants, back into the logging industry. So it was like for some, they were trying to, find a better place for them. Others are like, well, like, I'd have to.
Yeah.
I just don't agree with animals living in captivity. I like places like Australia Zoo, I believe, where they actually get injured animals, they rehabilitate them, and then they release them back into the wild. Certain animals do need care and should, maybe it's better to have them in a zoo or a place where, are they vets? Zookeepers?
Yeah, they have veterinarians.
Zookeepers are basically, vets, right? They know how to take care of animals. But yes, some animals do need care, and maybe they belong in a safe environment, but some animals should not be kept in captivity.
I know that the monkeys, like how a lot of tourism destinations here have monkeys. It's been a problem with some areas where the monkeys aren't getting fed by the tourists anymore. I mean, nobody was taking care of them, but the tourists would come and they'd get food or they'd steal food from tourists. And in one area, the monkeys actually ended up like migrating down to the homes and like breaking into homes. Like
that's scary.
Yeah, because they weren't getting where they were at like a temple. Nobody was visiting the temple anymore.
Right.
So they had to go look for food.
Yeah.
No.
Better buy some monkey insurance. All right, sorry, apologies for that horrible joke. Caitlin, you've got a story regarding the legalization of prostitution.
Yeah, well, it's not happening, but people want it to happen. So a minor political party, the Thai Civilized Party, the Bangkok Post says they want to form a House committee to study the possibility of legalizing prostitution. So they think that if they legalize prostitution, there are more than 500,000 sex workers that would benefit from having a law.
Very nice. Very nice. We briefly mentioned rights for sex workers yesterday when Forrest was on the show, and how they've actually been protesting against the current government, asking for more rights. So
They've been sending their high heels
that's
in the
right.
mail,
That's absolutely
calling
right.
on them because they haven't gotten, they have not been compensated like the other nightlife workers, you know. And it's very clear, I mean, that, prostitution is very open here. Anyone who has been to the nightlife districts, just walk down Sukhumvit, it's legal. I mean, it's not legal. It's
It's here.
It's
Illegal.
here.
It's
It's illegal, but
illegally
it's
legal.
It's yeah.
Illegally legal. Is that a word?
Yeah, sure.
Let's just go with it. All right, and the last news topic for today is possibly the best or the worst. You decide. But don't believe everything you hear. We've been told that, right? As people who work in the news industry and in the media industry in general. But you shouldn't always believe your GPS as well. Jason's got an amazing picture because we had a man who was just following the GPS. He just wanted to deliver his goods, and only in Thailand he got stuck because he didn't realize that he was driving a 10-wheeled truck and his truck was too tall. And that
Just
was the news
smasheroo.
topic.
Right.
So, please, in this time of, if you are driving a truck in this festive period, please be aware of how tall the bridges are and how tall your 10-truck wheel car is, and try not to get stuck.
I actually have a funny story about trying to follow a GPS in Thailand. So I like to go on motorbike trips, and sometimes you end up on a dirt road. Okay. If you're
Yes.
trying to go on a hike or something like that, you might end up on a dirt road. Well, one time my friends and I were trying to find the start for a trail for a hike, and we were driving, and the GPS took us on a wrong turn, and we quickly realized, this is the entrance to a resort, but it was on kind of a dirt road, and we stopped, and we were going to turn around. And as we were stopped, I was trying to look at the GPS. Somebody comes out with his truck from the resort and comes out, and he's mad. And he was foreign, so I don't know if that changes things for you, because I don't know. I've never had a very intense experience with a Thai person.
Angry foreigners.
But he was mad. And I think he even had his phone out filming us, and he was saying, it's what are you doing here? And we didn't even go that far down the road. And we're oh, we just made a wrong turn. Do you know where this hiking trail is? He's like, you tourist. And meanwhile, I had been here. I've been a teacher. I've been all over Thailand. He's saying that, if you go down a dirt road in Thailand, you might get shot.
Oh.
And he was
Is that
saying,
a threat?
Yes. He was telling me to look up Death Island because that's what happens to tourists who go down dirt roads.
Oh my goodness.
It was the weirdest experience, and I
what
was
a sad man.
Oh, no.
yeah.
What a sad man.
We were that's a wrong turn.
I'm glad that you're still alive.
I'm
and-
here.
he's
Not fine.
He's a prime example of there's always that one person who ruins it for everyone else. He should be there should be a picture of him under that definition.
I guess a lot of people make the wrong turn.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Should put up a sign or something.
But if you landed in his home or his property, I understand. But he's the equivalent of a male Karen in Thailand.
Yeah.
He was, yeah.
All right, let's just take another break. Once we come back from the break, we're going to take a couple of questions from the viewers on a bright Thursday morning in Bangkok. So if you do have any questions, please leave them now, and we'll be right back.
Isn't it time for you to come back to the islands? Phuket is open and it's never looked better. Choose your trip to your favourite island with 5-Star Marine. Go to 5starmarinephuket.com.
Welcome back. It's now time to take some questions from the viewers. If you do have a question, once again, please leave a question for me, for Caitlin, or Natty, and we will try to answer as many as we can before we leave for today. The first comment here is from Billy Fitness with a crazy profile picture, but hey, if you're that fit, good for you. He says, don't you guys remember news from last year in Phuket Zoo where during lockdown nobody was feeding the animals and some foreigners were arrested for feeding them over the fence? Yes, Billy, I do remember the news because I was talking about it on the show, actually. Do you guys remember this?
No, I don't.
I don't remember it, no.
That's fair, that's okay. But yes, some foreigners did get in trouble because they actually went to try and help these animals, and they were trespassing on private property. I believe that was the reason that was given.
Wow.
Wow, that killed the mood.
Wow.
I'm sourcing for questions.
Here we go. West Texas Grass said, is there any word on the new Thaiger store or did I miss it? Thank you for the question, West Texas. The Thaiger store and the e-commerce website will start starting New Year. So it will be in play within the first or second week in January 2022. Where you can buy a lot of Thaiger merchandise, as well as, Natty, do you want to grab that picture quickly?
Yes, I do.
Whoa. Ta-da! This beautiful tiger painting.
It's a replica of this guy.
That's right. These will be signed by Thaiger hosts, and you will be able to purchase these beauties as well as other Thaiger merchandise from our Thaiger store. Cool. Thank you. Just keep this on the side.
All right. Toby Price says, I'm having somtam for Christmas. You're going to have a spicy, spicy Christmas. I like that. I like that concept, like turning Thai food into Christmas food. You know, Thai food, we have a lot of reds, we have a lot of greens, so that kind of makes it Christmassy as well.
Here's a question. Martin Rowlandson says, I like going commando, but was told it's illegal. Is this because of mosquito? What's the panel's thought, and what do they think about breaking the rules occasionally? Thank you for that question, Martin Rowlandson, and your honesty. I like going commando, but I was told it's illegal. It's illegal in a lot of countries and definitely frowned upon by many communities around the world.
What are you talking about?
Commando isn't going naked.
No, you wear no underwear.
Yeah, just the underpants.
Oh, is that what he means?
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Is that? I thought going commando like full out.
No. Just no underwear.
Why would anyone know if you're not wearing underwear?
Unless you have like a hole in the
Were you staring
pants.
at people's butts, watching the creases? How else would you know if someone's commando? Why would that be? It is illegal, but
I don't know.
I don't even think it's illegal. I think it's fine.
Oh,
Because then,
apologies,
people
Martin.
would have broke.
Apologies. I feel like if you want to go commando, you do you, Martin.
Do
you do
it.
you. What do you guys think about breaking the law? Is this because of mosquitoes, by the way, firstly?
I don't think so. I think it's just because they like the breeze.
Maybe. You know, if your pants are like a bit too big and they're drooping down, nobody wants to see a butt crack. Maybe that could also
Or
be
if,
one
you
of the
know,
reasons.
They're all dirty that day, maybe.
I don't know.
Do you do side A, side B? Okay,
No,
anyway.
no judgments here. I thought he was just going like full. He was doing the full Monty and just
Yeah,
like.
actually, it is illegal for you to take your top off, but if you go to Koh Phangan, you can find some nude beaches there.
All right.
So nobody will get you in trouble.
Cool. Nelson Dale says, are you ever scared of eating the street food in Thailand? I find it cheap and delicious, but I'm often afraid it will make my bum hurt when I go to the bathroom.
Sometimes it does, yeah. Bring extra pair of underwear.
Yeah, but I think me and you, we might be different because we grew up with
You
it.
guys have been here.
Yeah. Are you scared of having street food? do you have like a couple of like, okay, check. All right, this shop is good enough.
So I've gotten food poisoning numerous times. Yeah, and it has, I've gotten from street food. You need to make sure that a lot of people are buying the food. It's not sitting out for a while. The worst was like in Raleigh, where they have these boats that come up to the beach. I don't know how long this chicken had been sitting in the sun, but I ate it. Not a good idea. So just look, like I was like, the chicken's a little dry, but I was hungry, and use your best judgment. I'm sure you guys wouldn't. You would know by looking at it, right? You'd be like, I'm
But
not
there are some shops that you can tell that, okay, that's been out for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And there's some shops that even I avoid because I can just tell that it doesn't look as hygienic to me as perhaps that place. I'd rather go there. So hygiene matters.
Just bring a Pepto-Bismol when you come, because you can't get that here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you that right now.
Or charcoal pills
Yeah.
are great.
Yeah. Also, but I think most of the street vendors are quite nice here. For example, like if you are buying that chicken, and sometimes they have it laid out on the table, and then they're still frying it.
Yeah, get the fresh one.
Yeah, or like barbecuing it. I'd be like, can I please? I'll wait. I want the barbecued one, the fresh one.
I'm so impatient. I'll
They
just
give it
be
to
like,
you.
oh, don't warm it up. I'll just have
I'm
this
sure
one.
you're fine. Your stomach's like used to it though.
I'm
It's like
immune.
for me, I'm like sensitive. I even got it, I think, from an egg, like from Joke. And then having the egg in there, because it was a place that everyone goes to, and then I had the worst. Like I don't vomit, and it was bad for
This
me.
is a lot of information for
like,
breakfast time, Caitlin.
Okay, it is called Good Morning Thailand, guys. All right, Chidra George says, are New Year events happening in Thailand?
Yeah.
Well, as of right now, the entertainment venues that are holding New Year parties are still holding them. And in terms of, for example, we're staying in Bangkok, there's no news on them being cancelled or any regulations of it, the time even being changed. So it's still up until 1 a.m. you can drink alcohol at a Sky Bar, for example. But many hotels, many restaurants are holding events. Those are still happening. Do you guys have any special plans for New Year's?
Yes, but I don't want to say.
Fair enough. Fair
Good.
enough. Natalie?
At home.
You wild stallion, you.
No, what? I'm going to be in bed by like 11 p.m. and just miss it.
Oh, okay. Wait,
That's not
not
even
a
true.
wild stallion. A stallion's a male horse.
Exactly. I was
Apologies.
thinking like,
I apologize.
a vixen. Wait, no, that's
A vixen.
Let's get it on.
Let's
okay,
move
Bob
on.
B says never pet a tiger. They are drugged for you. Selfie. That's true, actually. Did you know that they actually kind of make the tiger subdue a little bit mellow, so they won't like eat you while you're taking pictures. So it's not great.
Yeah, guys, just don't take the photos with the tigers.
But you can take this lovely
Yeah.
tiger photo home
Take
with you if you want. Plug.
Right. West Texas Greg says, speaking of bum gun, we need a special on that. Who? Speaking of bum gun, what? Warm water, cold, front or back? I assume you have to get necked, whatever that means.
Dude, okay.
We do not know these
I don't
things.
know if it's TMI again, but before moving here,
It's definitely TMI.
I looked up. I was like, "How do you use it?" Like,
How do you use a bum gun?
yeah.
I'm still asking that question every day. I'm like, what is this?
I know. Me and my friends talk about it, but I won't go into details. But I did look up videos before moving here because I was like, wait, because I didn't want to be in a bathroom with no toilet paper trying to figure out, like, wait.
I did not know that there were YouTube tutorials on a bum gun. That's a great idea for a tiger.
Oh, yeah.
Little clip. This is
guys,
how you use
Natty,
it.
you should totally do it.
Some things are just better left unspoken or not talked about. We will definitely not do a video on bum gun. I just feel like there's going to be a demand for bum gun videos.
I don't know. It might be
Let's
really good.
quickly and swiftly move on. Last question before we leave. Honest view, what I said is how evolution actually works. Martin P, I think I've missed part of your question.
Wait,
or
what did
comment.
he say?
I don't know. I think it's in response to someone else.
Oh,
a lot
okay.
of apologies.
Bree Red says maybe Natty and Jay should go on a commando questionable hacker stall run all you can eat.
Moving on. Okay, you know what? Come on, let's find a good question. And on a good note, let's find a good question. Martin P says that. Oh God, we use then wash dishes here, not behind.
A lot of these things are now talking about food poisoning
and bum guns.
and bum guns.
Okay, let's move on. Let's just end the show here. It's gone out of control. Our lovely yet crazy audience and viewers, thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natty.
Thank you.
And thank you, Jason. Thank you, Shai. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Gulf. Thank you, all the Thaiger members. If I don't mention everybody, there's always someone who gets angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. A more serious at the start and a little more lighthearted in the second half. And we hope you have a great day. See you tomorrow. Jazz hands.
You don't have to elaborate.
You have to say